So, all right, going on defense, we're just gonna kind of lump them all together. So obviously, mainly some edge rushers. Bud Dupree leaving Pittsburgh to Tennessee for a 5-year contract. I think that was surprising to me. Shaq Barrett going back to the Bucks. Once again, I think me personally didn't think he would get back there, especially after the other guys that re-signed, but they made room. They made it happen. Trey Hendrickson going from New Orleans to Cincinnati. A few other names here in terms of defense. William Jackson, we already mentioned. John Johnson to Cleveland. But yeah, I'll let you go first, Ron. Any particular defensive signings that you liked or disliked?
Yeah, I keep coming back to Washington and I hate it, but Will Jackson, I
He's
mean,
underrated corner.
how do so you got the pressure coming in from both ends with their D line. Now you've got another coverage corner who it's really tough to beat him over the top because he's so fast. It's like, where do you go against that defense?
It's
Like that defense was strong last year, and they were able to pick up another, cornerback who kind of struggled at times in Cincy, but I think confidence has to go up when you've got that kind of a pass rush
yeah,
and another cornerback on the other side of you, like Fuller. I like that move. I like Judon to the Patriots.
such a
I
Patriot
thought that was
guy.
also a good move. Um, Minnesota getting Dalvin. They did this to us with Linville Joseph, and he was an All Pro for them too. So it's like I kind of see him just kind of going in there doing that same thing that they like to just really get after the quarterback and stuff the middle, and some good moves there. Yeah, I mean those are the ones that really stood out for me.
All right, John. Any stick out to you? I know there's a lot.
I'll try to go with some different names. One that's a little more underrated, but I think he's so solid is John Johnson going to the Browns. The Browns also got Doc McKinley to put on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. So yeah, I like what the Browns are doing. I feel like that provides some stability, veteran presence in that pretty young secondary. Because you pair him with a healthy Grant Delpit, that could be a really solid safety duo. Another guy that I really like is Shaquille Griffin. He went to the Jaguars. Once
Yeah,
again, veteran presence in a young secondary. Put him with C.J. Henderson in the back. That duo could be really solid. And I think the Jags are priming themselves for a pretty quick turnaround just because of how much money they have, how many draft picks they have, Trevor Lawrence effect, all these kind of things. So I like that. Um, I was interested in Trey Hendrickson, going to Cincinnati. Um, I don't know a ton about Cincinnati's defense. Trey Hendrickson was one of those weird ones where he just had like a breakout year, and then all of a sudden he's a free agent, and we got to see what the market is for him. I thought there would be more competition for him just because sometimes you see guys like that. I think he was like second in the whole league when it came to sacks this season. Sometimes you see guys like that when they have a breakout year like that, you see big kind of money. Um, I can't remember the exact deal that he got, but I
It's
thought that
four
was
years, 60
interesting.
million.
Yeah, so that's a pretty hefty deal. Since he also went and got Chidobe Awuzie, Cowboys corner, I expected him to walk because Dallas just doesn't really invest in their secondary a ton, and he's a serviceable corner, solid starter. So I thought that was a good deal. My favorite one, which is a little biased, but Hassan Reddick going to the Panthers.
Yeah.
You guys know that I'm a Matt Rule guy. I mean, his defensive schemes have always relied on speed and versatility, as we saw with Jeremy Chin and what he was able to do as a linebacker slash safety. And so I think getting a guy like him who he can play, as we've seen last year, he can play defensive end because he had a lot of sacks, he had double digits, and then he's also typically more so been a linebacker. So just having that versatility in the Phil Snow, Matt Rule defensive schemes, I'm excited for that because I think he's just a perfect fit there. Other than that, there's still a lot of really good defensive free agents that we got to see where they're going to land. I mean, you think of Richard Sherman, you think of Jadeveon Clowney. Like there's a lot of really good veterans that it's going to be interesting to see what the market is for them. I mean, specifically Clowney, you think of like how much is he really going to get paid? Didn't really play at all last year. Didn't have a sack. Um, and he had a 1 year, $13 million deal. I don't think he gets anything close to that again this time. Um, so yeah, just a lot of still interesting names. I mean, Kyle Fuller just got released by the Bears. That's a really interesting one because he's a Pro Bowl corner, So uh, the defensive free agency side, that's where I'm really interested. Offensively, it feels like a lot of the big names outside of receiver have already pretty much signed. But defense, there's still a lot of big names. And just one interesting thing of note that I know that only it applies to my Cowboys, but it also applies to some other teams, is that a lot of these teams that have uh, the comp picks, where like you lost free agents in the past, and so you get a compensation pick. I didn't actually know this until recently, but there is apparently a certain deadline in which if you sign certain free agents before that, you can actually lose those compensation picks.
Yeah.
And so once that deadline passed, I think we're going to see a lot of teams become a lot more active. And so some of these veteran free agents, like a Richard Sherman, I think he might be waiting even for that kind of a deadline to pass, because then his market's just going to open up way more.
Yeah. In regards to free agents, I'm sticking with defense. Also, especially for my Packers, like an AJ Bouye, always been very solid. It just seemed like Denver just ready to move to a different direction. Same thing with Jarrell Casey. And then Quan Alexander. I know he's had some knee injuries, but always he was a solid linebacker when he was healthy. I mean, Olivier Vernon, Kareem Jackson, Casey Hayward. So there's still some. I don't think that's. I'm not sure if the site, if Spot Track has it correct, but it says Anthony Harris, safety of the Vikings.
Yep, he's still a free agent.
So yeah, still some solid guys out there. But yeah, in regards to some moves I did like, or I'm gonna go with didn't like first. I kind of with you on Trey Hendrickson. I feel like it was a 1 year thing, and a lot of good defensive linemen in New Orleans. I feel like just watching him, he had a lot of opportunities. And not great against the run. So I feel like so now you go to Cincinnati, where you're not gonna have Cameron Jordan and Sheldon Rankins, with you to help, just basically give you one-on-ones. I'm not sure how that will work. But the guy that did leave Cincinnati, Carl Lawson, I like that move for the Jets. They need an edge rusher. They've been needing one for a long time. That's a good gamble. I know injuries have been the main issue, but if he can stay healthy, he's definitely one of those guys that can pop. Like y'all mentioned, William Jackson, I really wanted him. That's a great signing by the Washington football team. I almost said the other name. And the last one I'll say is Yannick Ngakoue for the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a good, solid 2-year deal, short deal. They need a presence on the D line. We've been saying this. They have kind of solid guys. They don't have anyone that scares you. And I think Yannick's good. If he can get back to what he was doing in Jacksonville, they'll be in good shape there. But not much else defensively that I want to mention. We can go to the teams now.